So today we're going to talk about the Age of Aquarius. We all know that we are living in times of a great shift, and many of us feel that on some level, but not everybody can put words to it. So in astrology, this great shift is very defined, and it's the shift of the great year, which happens every 2160 years. So it's not a very common thing, and that is Jeff, by the way. My new flatmate, he's still getting used to the atmosphere. So the last time the great year shifted was, when the whole story around Jesus and Christianity started. And now we are on this crossroads again. So what does this mean? When a great year shifts, it means there's going to be changes to the very, very fundamental ways that humanity functions. We might think that we are different from others, we have a different nation, we have a different culture, or a different skin color, whatever. But at some level, we all are humans and we all behave in the same ways, in ways that we don't even question. For example, we all fall in love the same way. We all eat food. We all have the same hierarchical governmental structures. And we all believe in humanism, which is currently the most dominant world religion, as very well explained by Yuval Noah Harari in his books Sapiens and Homo Deus. So these are all things that we take for granted. It's like, of course, this is how it is, but it's not. When the great year shifts, it's actually a time where these very fundamental things about being human change. So the age we are just coming out of is the Age of Pisces. So that started around the same time when Jesus Christ and the myth of Christianity started. So Pisces is associated with illusions and fogs and unclarity, uncertainty, but also to faith and to creativity and to surrender. So this past great age for humanity was a time when they learned how to surrender and how to trust and how to have faith. And that's why it started with this whole metaphorical story of Jesus Christ. Because he brought into our experience religion, which was like an opiate of the masses, like an addiction, like a drug that everybody clung to for the next 2000 years, because there was nothing else. We were in a very dark age and there was not much bliss on earth. So everything we could cling to was religion and also creativity and art. So it was a great year in which there was a lot of creative endeavors and a lot of artists and a lot of poets and musicians. So art flourished because this was our way to transcend this horrible reality. And last but not least, the surrender part. So we needed to learn how to surrender, and that's why they threw us into a reality that is not very enjoyable. So the only thing we can do is to surrender to it, because the only moment when a human is going to surrender is when he has no other way, when he is like literally pushed into a corner and there's no other opportunity than just surrendering to what's happening. Interestingly, there is a passage in the Bible itself that kind of implicates that the Age of Aquarius, or the shift of the next great year, is coming. And it says, when Jesus asked his disciples, when he was asked by his disciples where the next Passover would be, he replied, and I gotta read this: "Behold, when you entered into the city, there shall a man meet you, bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he entered in." So this was a symbolical metaphor for the coming of the Age of Aquarius. So the next Passover, Jesus said, would be the Age of Aquarius, which is happening right now. So how can we determine when this Passover is actually happening? That is the trickiest part of all, because there's many differing opinions. There is definitely like this theme of the Age of Aquarius coming into our consciousness ever since the 60s and the whole hippie movement and the very famous song The Age of Aquarius, which bears a lot of truth if you listen to the lyrics. But there is also a lot of different opinions about it. For example, the Mayan calendar that said that the world is ending 2012, which is not what they actually said, but they said that this kind of great year that we lived in is changing in 2012. So there is this Mayan opinion. Then there is Dain, who says it shall begin in 2062. He's one of the most famous astrologers and evolutionary astrologers. And then there is just a lot of different opinions, but most of all kind of agree on the fact that it is a fluent transition. It's not like happening 1 year, 1 day. It starts and then, it takes about 100 years to come to fruition. So I personally agree with Dain. But I also agree with the fact that it started in the 1960s, so I think it is a transition that lasts about 100 years and started in the 60s and will end in the 2060s. Now, what does this transition mean for humanity? Well, first of all, it certainly means that there's going to be a great destruction, because for something new to come in, there needs to be a destruction first. Something needs to be destroyed. So this is what we are experiencing right now, and we will be experiencing very intensely for the next 4 years until Pluto goes into Aquarius. We will be experiencing the destruction of the structures as we knew them so far. And there's going to be a big destruction of illusion, because as opposed to Pisces, Aquarius is the sign of clarity. So we lived in 2000 years of illusion where everybody was fooling us, everybody was manipulating us, the media, the governments, each other, in relationships. And now we're coming into an age of clarity and transparency. So first of all the lies and everything that is rooted in illusion will disappear. And we are starting to see now all the things that are going to disappear. However, what does the Age of Aquarius bring? So, because this change resets everything that we take for granted, everything we think we know about the world and how it works. In order to even fathom what this change is going to be like, we need to think completely out of the box of what we knew so far of being human. So in this video, I'm going to try and think outside of the box for you and see how this might play out in the different areas of life. First of all, there's a few pillars that I think are going to be the energetical carriers of the Age of Aquarius. And they are freedom, technology, brain, in terms of higher mind, not the small brain that we know now, but there is going to be big expansions in our brain function. Community and the brotherhood of man, equality, alien and outer space, transparency, and logic. So these are kind of the elements of Aquarius. Let's now go through different areas of life and how it may play out in those. First of all, religion. So there is going to be no more religion. Even though some of us might think we don't have a religion, we still all have a religion. And that religion is called humanitarianism. Humanism or humanitarian. No, humanism is what I want to say. Humanitarianism is helping people. Humanism is the religion as defined by Harari. And it means that we all believe in the human, that the human is the Lord of this earth. And everything that happens according to our will. So to say, we are God. So we believe in the human and that the decisions about this world are in our hands. That is going to change. So I don't know if this is going to change because another entity, more intelligent and more powerful than us, is going to be introduced into our reality. but for sure we are going to shift what we believe about humans. Maybe this new entity can be aliens, or it can be machines, or AI, but definitely humans are not going to be ruling the world anymore, and the new era is an era of transhumanism, so the human will be transcended in a way. In the area of work, needless to say that digitalization is coming. So the Age of Aquarius is a digital age, and it's all going to be happening online and in the network. So all jobs that I see endangered are jobs that have to do with the physical. First of all, because the physical is not going to be so important anymore. And second of all, because machines are coming and they're going to be taking over all of the tasks that are in the physical. So humans will really have to start using the skills that they have that differentiate them from machines in order to find a job or stay in the job market. So again, we will be conditioned to expand our brain and use our higher mind in order to stay part of the society. And then all jobs that are connected to creating equality and creating brotherhood amongst men are going to be safe for sure. Any jobs that are to do with humanitarianism, this time I mean it, humanitarianism, and social jobs, and work that protects the environment, and of course digital work is going to be the work that is going to be safe. And definitely Corona is giving us a preview of this. So the jobs that are at stake now, the ones that are in danger right now during this crisis, are exactly the ones that are not going to make it throughout the next millennia. And the ones that are not at danger are the ones that are going to be flourishing in the next years. And since our society and governmental structures are going to change too, there is not going to be much opportunity or much space for jobs that have absolutely no humanitarian aspect, that are just created for the mere sake of hoarding money. So this is also not going to be a good option for the future. All works that somehow support the Aquarian principles of transparency, equality, and logic, and science, and equality are going to be jobs that are going to be very successful in the future. Food and nutrition. So Aquarius is a very detached sign. It's not very material. So what will happen to our bodies, I ask myself. And I can definitely see our bodies becoming lighter. I can see physical changes happening with our bodies, just the same way that our intestinal tract got much smaller so we could stand up straight and start to differentiate ourselves from a monkey. The same way now, when the physical will not be so important anymore and we mainly work with our brains, our bodies might start to change to give us more opportunity to grow where it is needed and safe space where it is not needed. So I feel like there's going to be a change to our bodies, and there's going to be a change in nutrition that's coming, and a lot of people feel this very strongly already. I personally think food is disappearing, and we are going to be nurturing ourselves with certain nutritions, but in order to have a lighter body, we will not take in so much physical substances anymore. And at the same time, this will probably be considered the most profitable or advantageous option, because if agriculture stops, nature as well will have the opportunity to recover itself. And a lot of things that, are to do with the destruction of the earth will disappear, let alone the fact that we will be much more freely able to move if we don't have to think in terms of surviving through food anymore. Governments. So there's going to be tremendous changes to the government system in the Age of Aquarius, because the highest priorities of Age of Aquarius are individual freedom and humanitarianism and egalitarianism, so that everybody is the same. That is obviously not the case with our government structure, and plus there is absolutely no freedom. Another value of Age of Aquarius: clarity and transparency for everybody, also not the case right now. So our government structure will break. There's going to be a new structure in place. It will, I don't know if it will happen with wars and revolutions, or it will simply happen because a better solution will be in place. I hope it's going to be the second one, because there is a better solution in place already, and it is blockchain. So blockchain is a new system of like the new internet, basically, which doesn't allow for lies. So it doesn't allow for manipulation, and it is completely transparent and decentralized. So there's no central person holding or owning the network. It's owned by everybody, and everybody has the chance to contribute and to check everything at any time. So this is transparency. Now, the changes that are happening on a digital level are going to be so fast that the government is not going to be able to keep up with controlling it or making new laws in order to kind of halt this digital progress. And I think this is how the governments are going to lose power, because the digital revolution is just going to be too fast for them, and it's going to take over. And Aquarius is also the sign of community and power of the people. So I think from a centralized government, the power is going to distribute itself back to the people. And with that, there's going to be no manipulation anymore, no, mass hypnosis through media, but transparency and clarity for everybody. And since there is transparency and clarity for everybody, maybe there still will be something like voted leaders or representatives for certain groups, but those will be voted not based on manipulation and propaganda and mass hypnosis, but they will be elected on fair terms, so people will know who this person really is, and this person will not be able to lie about their intentions. There's going to be just simple truth. And obviously the social classes are gonna become much less pronounced, because through the internet and the blockchain technology and the development of the digital, everything is going to be accessible to everybody much easier than it is now. So the people in India are going to be just as able to mine bitcoins as are the people in Europe. So more opportunity for everybody, or same opportunities for everybody. Going with that, the schooling system is going to completely change. So there is not going to be any more structure or schooling system that trains people to be robots and to just adhere to a certain set of rules, because the working space is not going to be like that anymore either. So what is going to be the main point in schooling and education is going to be to educate people to think freely and to be real individuals. So I think the emphasis in school is going to start being definitely on technology and science, because the Age of Aquarius is an age of logic and of proof, of investigation, and of the natural sciences. So free thinkers are going to be supported, and people are going to be trained to think freely and to be to use their higher mind. In that terms, I'm not sure if schooling systems are going to exist anymore. Maybe there is going to be more of a community organized meetup for children, where they kind of practice certain things with different tutors at different times, but it's going to be much more free, much more unorganized or decentralized than it is now. What's going to happen to human communities? Human gatherings and human bonding right now is very much based on distractions. So every time we meet up, most of the time it is to get drunk, so to go into illusions, to have a drink with each other, to eat with each other, to go party with each other, to watch movies. So all forms of taking you out of this reality, all forms of distraction or so-called fun. there's going to be less fun in the Age of Aquarius, because fun is ruled by Leo, which is the opposite of Aquarius. So in the Age of Aquarius, it's going to be much more seriousness in terms of purpose. So everything is going to have purpose. Even meeting up with people is going to have purpose. So we're not just going to meet up with somebody in order to go and have drinks and party and dance, but most of our social contacts are going to be based on a mutual vision or something, you know, more meaningful that we do together. Also, things like celebrities and starlets is going to be much more diminished, because that's also, again, Leo stuff. Leo is like, oh, certain people are very special and are the king and others not. And Aquarius is very much an energy of everybody is equal. So there's not going to be this, you know, hyping of certain people and they are super important and they are idols and others not. So there's going to be much more air of equality and brotherhood. We will all collaborate together for the greater good, and maybe we will finally do that because we will be forced to, because we will just come to a point in history where we fucked it up so badly that we actually cannot ignore it anymore, and we need to pull ourselves together and collaborate. But in any way, we will collaborate and start to not distract ourselves, but gather and start to use our collective human potential in order to create a better world for everybody. When it comes to science, there's going to be a lot of intervention of technology into biology. So technology is going to start to intervene with our bodies and with the way we work. This might still be a very scary thought for a lot of people, but I see it as something inevitable coming with the Age of Aquarius. We are going to start upgrading our bodies with technology in order to be able to hold or go with and keep up with all the changes that are happening in our mind. And there is already a lot of things happening. If one just, you know, takes Elon Musk as the only example, who has really futuristic, intense ideas. He is enough in order to give you a little idea of what is going to be happening in the Age of Aquarius. So everybody who knows Elon Musk and his company Neuralink knows that he has this project of implanting chips into the human brain that connect to our neurons and basically imitate our own neurons. So the brain would literally mistake it for another neuron and send information to this chip, and this chip will be able to connect to Wi-Fi. So we would have a brain connected to Wi-Fi 24/7. I'm not going to go into the implications of this idea and what it can bring, but this is just one of the ideas that is already out and is already being implemented as we speak. So the first trials on humans are being done this year, and Musk says he wants it to be implemented by 2030 so that everybody has this. Opportunity and danger at the same time, but the same like in every age, also in the Age of Aquarius, we're going to be learning through trial and error. And we will definitely start mixing with technology. Our bodies will become partly technological. At the same time, there will be robots who are going to become much more improved and are going to start to be human-like. So we're going to have robot-like humans and human-like robots, and maybe at some point you won't even know what is what. Which brings us to another interesting topic, which is relationships. Well, thinking about the fact that robots and humans are not going to be easily distinguishable anymore, obviously there is the possibility that there's going to be robot-human relationships as well. However, the first thing that we are going to experience is the disappearance of gender, because Aquarius is an androgynous sign. There is no feminine or masculine, so we will, as we already are starting everywhere in the world, we will start to not pay attention to gender anymore. And I'm not sure if this is only going to stay a psychological thing or if our bodies are going to start adjusting accordingly too, which I see as a possibility as well. And then Aquarius, being the opposite of Leo, is the sign of logic and a bit of detachment. So Leo is passion and romance and sex, and Aquarius is the mind and friendship and, you know, community or partnering up to pursue a vision. There is no more fun or much less fun involved, just as in, you know, general friendships, in relationships. It's not going to be so much anymore about attraction and about, you know, the fire. It's going to be about air, about the mind. So relationships are not going to be formed anymore based on mutual attraction or based on romance, but they're going to be formed in much more logical reasons. Apart from that, since Leo's, for example, the opposite of Aquarius, is the sign of you are special. Somebody is really special. I am special. Individuality. And Aquarius is the sign of everybody is equal. So that again brings something into relationships that hasn't been there before. Right now in relationships, it is about having one special person, or, you know, being special for each other. In the Age of Aquarius, there might be much more, you know, sleeping around with everybody, because there is no single person that is special, but everybody is the same. So everybody can be with everybody. That might be something that's going to be happening too. Apart from that, since Aquarius is not a very physical sign, I can see the somewhat importance of sex disappearing as well, and relationships becoming much colder on a physical level. Maybe that all seems really scary to us right now, but since the human is going to change, maybe, you know, this new values or this new forms of a relationship are going to be what's going to be most fulfilling for us in that way. So we're going to have like really fulfilling mental connections and a lot of relationships where we feel a sense of higher purpose and that we are pursuing the same goal, which in the future might be more important for us than attraction, sexuality. So this is my very short and condensed forecast for the Age of Aquarius. This is what I think will happen, not what I would necessarily like to happen, but what I assume most probably will happen in this new age. So I'm trying to adapt myself, because not in all of those points was this the vision that I wished for, or not the direction into which I wish the world to develop, but it seems to be inevitable. So I kind of made peace with it, and maybe this is the best option for everybody. Really excited about what all of you think, and if you have some other suggestions or ideas about how this will play out. And yeah, looking forward to your comments and messages. Thank you for listening.